Today, Jagex added a brand new boss to Runescape called the Flesh Hatcher Macarnaz. Unlike high-level boss releases like Amaska, this one's for the lower to early mid-game players looking to learn and explore PvM, all without compromising on quality. Let's talk about it, so whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. To some of you, this boss release may come as a surprise, but it was mentioned in a roadmap check-in post late November. Now, the Flesh Hatcher is very much a low to mid-level boss, and that's also reflected in its requirements. Jagex recommends you have a combat level of around level 70, and the only actual hard requirement you have for this boss is level 40 Dungeoneering, which was set to access the dungeon, which is located north of Fort Free inside the wilderness. If you're running here or you're killing this boss, make sure you turn off PvP at the Val NPC to make sure you're safe when trying to access the dungeon. Now, you're probably wondering, this is being labeled as like a mid-level boss. I'm calling it a low to mid-level boss, and really what this is, unlike Rection Matriarchs, which Jagex also called a mid-level boss, pretty high defense and everything. Now, this is definitely a low-level, early mid-game boss, but probably more low-level boss, similar to Archglacier normal mode with, 2-3 mechanics turned on, Giant Mole, KBD, King Black Dragon, and Gorder's Dungeon 1 bosses such as General Grador and Krill. The difference, however, is that, unlike those bosses I just mentioned, with the exception of the Archglacier, which is fantastic in the same way, this boss and its mechanics teach you something of value which you can use for your PvMing journey. The boss primarily attacks you with magic and has 3 main mechanics. The first is a small blast indicated by a square telegraph animation charging up before hitting you with range damage and stunning you for a second, in case you didn't react quickly enough. I just gave it away. This is a mechanic that forces you to react either by moving away, praying range to reduce damage, praying ranged and using something like Devotion or Debilitate to reduce the damage even more, or, probably ideal, using the Resonance defensive ability with a shield and healing from it, which is possible. The second mechanic or type of mechanic are these occult blast waves, which can occur in 3 different spots around the arena, being the inner square, the center square, and the outer squares of the arena. If you're not paying attention and you don't move out of the way, these are soft typeless damage hits which can be reduced to 1 or 0 using Resonance, or reduced by using other defensives such as Debilitate on the boss or Reflect using a shield. These are kind of like a little teaser and a preview of the harder square waves you can find in the Sanctum of Rebirth or at the Amaska boss later in the end game. The third and final encounter is something you'll probably encounter if you're using anything below tier 70 weapons for this boss, because it does have quite a bit of health, and that is minion sacks. In solos, the Flesh Hatcher will chuck 3 warped flesh sacks onto the boss arena, which have a blue bar that charge up. If you don't kill these before they fully charge, it will spawn 3 seekers that start attacking you, which will deal a little bit more damage. What this teaches you is targeting and attacking different objects during a boss fight, and this early on, that's a valuable lesson because a lot of bosses have minions with things you need to attack other than the boss. So it teaches you targeting. And yes, the boss is immune to damage until the minions have been killed, similar to the Archglacier. And really, that's something I would compare this boss to. It's something similar to normal mode Archglacier, except you can't turn off certain mechanics, but it does teaches you similar things which are valuable for your PvM journey as mentioned previously. As for drops, I was getting about 30 to 50k GP per kill. Sometimes you get something that's a little bit more expensive, like a Seeker's Charm or a Dragon Longsword. This boss also has 2 other drops, being a Dragon Harpoon, yes, that's a brand new item, which buffs your fishing level by 3, and a Stalker's Charm Amulet, which is a mid-level ranged amulet, slightly worse than the Amulet of Glory in terms of damage bonus. However, this amulet also provides 84 ranged accuracy bonus. Overall, I think this boss is an unexpected yet neat addition to the game, as it can help newer or returning players ease their way through the PvM ladder. And all that with the quality of a modern boss release with telegraphed attacks. I mean, it's just a solid release. My only gripe with the boss is that you cannot quickly restart the boss in the same instance, and you need to leave from the area you're teleported to. But that might be something they fix in the near future. That is, if they didn't add that on purpose to stop AFK farmers like myself going for the pet. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you did, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.